Time to talk sports matters on SEM TV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational, sensational. And Stadium is blocked. The All Blacks press forward with a driving run. White 5 for 3, it's good. A huge shot. The puck drops in this gold medal game.
Midfielder Assim Madibo has been given a 5-game ban because of a challenge he made on Ismael Kone. And Bosnia and Herzegovina, Morocco, Brazil, Switzerland, Canada and South Africa are the latest countries to qualify for the round of 32 stage at the ongoing Mundial right there in USA, Mexico and Canada. And tonight we get to see some games. Paraguay will play the early hours of Friday. They got Australia to worry about, and this is effectively a battle for qualification from Group D. The group winners have already been decided, leaving Paraguay and Australia fighting for the remaining automatic knockout round spot. A win guarantees second place, while a draw would strongly favor Australia due to their superior goal difference and could potentially allow both teams to advance under the best top place system. Curacao will also be in action. Curacao, they got Ivory Coast to worry about, and the Ivorians are in a strong position to qualify for the round of 32. A draw is likely enough, while a win, guarantees progression to the next round. Ecuador have got Germany to play tonight. This is a decisive final Group E match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Germany have already secured qualification after winning their first 2 matches, while Ecuador are under pressure and likely in need of a positive result to keep their knockout stage hopes very much alive. Without, I say welcome to Sports 360, the World Cup edition right here on SEM TV. And that means the voice you trust and that media you probably need. They call me Rex Patrick the Locker, that homeboy that's never at home. I look around 247-365. I'm your host and guide. Of course, Michel Dagogo is right here with me today. He joins me as well as we look at the big stories coming up, or making the rounds right now, and the games coming up tonight at the ongoing FIFA World Cup in USA, Mexico and Canada. It's a great time to have you right here, Michel Dagogo.
Once again, it's a pleasure, Patrick the Locker. It promises to be exhilarating and also entertaining. I look forward to see how the show will unfold. Okay,
as a referee, have you got any doubts officiating so far at the tournament? Before we get into the matches,
sincerely speaking, I've never seen contentious issues. Too many contentious issues. Of course, the referees are always at the center of criticisms most of the times, especially when they get decisions wrong. However, we've seen top-notch officiating at the World Cup.
Yeah.
The referees, not perfect, of course. They have really, approach the game to the absolute best of their knowledge. You have maintained a very high level of professionalism. Though more needs to be done, the video assistant referees too would have to improve and maintain a very high level of concentration, to work in synergy with the on-field official. But so far so good. It's been a wonderful tournament for the referees.
Okay, interesting time. Since we're talking about officiating and how events have unfolded for the most part of the tournament, let's tell you that Qatar's midfielder Assim Madibo has been given a 5-game ban because of a challenge he made on Ismael Kone. It was indeed an agricultural challenge. Feels like the player Kone was uprooted from the ground. The tackle caused the Canadian player to break both the tibia and fibula, in his left leg during the 2026 World Cup. Madibo was shown a red card during Qatar's 6-0 loss last Thursday. Now, FIFA's disciplinary committee has decided to ban him for 5 matches due to serious foul play, although he can appeal this very decision. Kone, who plays for the Italian team Sassuolo, had surgery right after the game in Vancouver. Madibo has since visited the 24-year-old in the hospital. But this is quite a bad thing, something you don't want to see for the most part as a player or even as a fan or official. reckless challenge. I call it an agricultural challenge because it feels like Ismael Kone was uprooted from the ground. Crazy times. You saw that one as a referee. What do you make of that very incident? And as an official of the game, both as a pundit and referee, is this decision a right call? A 5-game ban for the player for such challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. Their classification of tackles or challenges, as the case may be. Football is a contact sport. However, not all contacts are fouls. But once you go, beyond the safety measures you're supposed to apply, then the classification of challenge, like I said, we have the careless challenge, which doesn't warrant any kind of booking. We have the reckless, yellow card can go, or red, as the case may be, and we have the excessive. That one is straight red. For the reckless, you can give a yellow card because as a way to maintain.
For reckless,
yes,
it's reckless. Why just the yellow? I thought it should be like some sort of.
No, it's reckless. So the yellow card, kind of gives that player some kind of I'm biting more than I can chew. I would have to maintain some kind of discipline. Yeah, that is how it is. But when it is excessive,
okay,
then it is straight red. For careless, like I mentioned, no booking at all. Reckless, yellow card or red card. It depends on the challenge and
on the context.
Yeah,
so for Qatar Smith with the Assim Madibo, well deserved. No,
well deserved, and he has even gone to the hospital, to
see Ismael Kone
as a way to, in the spirit of sportsmanship, to meet Ismael Kone. It happens. He did not do it intentionally, so it is what it is. And according to
ban, fair enough.
It's fair enough. According to FIFA Ethics Committee, they say he contravened Article 14.1, which kind of amounts to serious foul play.
Okay.
So going forward, since the player has shown some kind of empathy and some kind of remorse, FIFA
for his actions.
Yeah, FIFA can also say, okay, based on what we've seen, they have given him a 5-match ban, but like you mentioned, he's subject to his appeal. And with what he has done already, going to the hospital to meet the man in question, the victim, I think FIFA might say, okay, since you've shown a certain level of remorse, let's just make it to 3-match ban. It happens, so it is what it is, and I feel sorry for the player. Like you mentioned, he broke his tibia and fibula. It's just so unfortunate for him, and it has now further made him not to take part in the competition. So it is what it is, and the rules are the rules, and I feel very sorry for the player there.
Crazy times. The round of the game is a unifier. It should be best enjoyed. I mean, this is the biggest stage of world football.
Absolutely,
it's the biggest stage, and so it's the dream of every player to be at the Mundial and play every game possible. Every game possible. But for Ismael Kone, well, we wait to see what happens at the end of it all. Now let's talk about the top place table, because Bosnia and Herzegovina are currently top of the top place table at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. They finished behind Switzerland and co-host Canada, in Group B, despite their 3-1 win over Qatar. Of course, interesting times for the most part. I tell you, the result means they've recorded 1 win and 1 draw, and of course 1 defeat so far with a goal difference. So Sweden, Croatia are also in the conversation. Sweden, Croatia, South Korea, Algeria, Paraguay, Scotland and Cape Verde complete the top 8 in the third place table as it stands. So the bottom 4 are Belgium, DR Congo, Ecuador, and of course Senegal. So those are the bottom 4 teams in that very group: Belgium, DR Congo, Ecuador, Senegal. Sweden, Ecuador, Paraguay play today. Belgium, Cape Verde, Senegal play on Friday. DR Congo, Croatia, Algeria will round things off on Saturday. in this expanded World Cup tournament, the 8 best teams that finished third in their group will also progress to the round of 32 of the tournament. What's your assessment of these teams? You know, when you see teams like Cape Verde in the conversation, it makes a lot of sense because, you know, before the start of the tournament, I said I mentioned them. They were one of the dark horses of the tournament.
Absolutely.
And what they've done so far in the tournament, we can say, well, they got all it takes, or they deserve to make it to the next round of the tournament. Or I don't know if you think differently.
No. They have really shown intentionality. This is their debut, and normally we've seen teams that have always been going to the World Cup, or maybe had some kind of appearance at the World Cup, fail to cover their faces in glory. The likes of South Africa, for instance, they have been at the World Cup before, but this happens to be the very first time they are getting to the knockout stages. And for Cape Verde, we also had they were able to, you know, hold on to that stalemate against the La Roja, the Spanish team. Nobody saw that coming. The Spanish team happens to be one of the best teams when it comes to this World Cup. They are one of the favorites, and their goalkeeper, you know, Vozinha, you know, did so well.
Brilliant guy.
Yeah, when he made about 7 saves.
Yeah.
So I think attention will be shifted to them. A lot of scouts, international football bodies, you know, will be looking for. That means they are doing something, you know, good about football in Cape Verde for them to make such an instant impact at the World Cup. I'm talking about the World Cup generally. It's unprecedented. The very first time, 48 teams.
Yeah. And
out of the 48, of course, 2 make it automatically, cumulatively to be 24 teams, and 12 teams will just so from the third places, and out of that 12, about 8 will join them to make it 32. So I've seen that even some teams have not really gotten it right. South Korea, you know, seem to have a realistic chance. They're on 3 points, and they have a less goal difference. You know, this is where goals scored and goals, you know, considered count. For Cape Verde, they stand a chance to qualify. They have drawn their 2 matches, and they will be playing Iraq, if I'm not mistaken, or Iran.
We'll talk about the games coming up. Right? So
far so good. You understand that aside Bosnia and Herzegovina, that based on the fact that they have gotten 4 points, have qualified. The rest, most of the teams in that position have 3 points. Some do have 2. Based on the fact that they have drawn their 2 matches, and they stand a chance to qualify depending on what happens in their final game.
All right. Now, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Morocco, Brazil, Switzerland, Canada, and South Africa are the latest countries to qualify for the round of 32 stage at the ongoing FIFA World Cup tournament. They join Colombia, Norway, France, and of course Argentina, Mexico, Germany, and USA in the round of 32 stage of the ongoing tournament. Recall that Mexico defeated Czech Republic, while South Africa won against South Korea. Alright, so meanwhile, more final group matches will be played later today. Ivory Coast will face Curacao, while Germany tackle Ecuador. Now let's talk about the games, proper. Curacao against Ivory Coast. The Ivorians, what do you make of that game going into that one? What's your take? What are the chances like?
You know, for the Ivorians, they have been able to grind that result even when they don't play well. I watched that game against the Ecuador side. You know, they adopted a low block. You know, the Ecuador side were the best in terms of possession. However, their bane was the inability to make their territorial dominance into goals. And the Ivorians, like they say, the ultimate currency of football is goals. And they got that opportunity and they scored. And in their second game, I think they did not lose too. So the Ivorians have been doing so well for themselves. So I believe that they stand a good chance to qualify from their group. So the Ivorians would scale out of their group based on what I have here.
Okay, Ivory Coast are in a strong position, just so you know, to qualify for the round of 32 stage. A draw is likely enough, while a win guarantees progress. Curacao, playing in their first ever World Cup, need victory and a favourable result or favorable results elsewhere to keep their knockout hopes very much alive. Let's talk about some of the game coming up tonight. Interestingly, Ecuador have got Germany to worry about. All right, Ecuador, Germany, 9 p.m. Nigerian time, 9 p.m. UK time, just so you know. So this is indeed a decisive final Group E match of the 2026 World Cup. Germany have already secured qualification after winning their first 2 matches, while Ecuador are under pressure and likely need a positive result to keep their knockout stage hopes very much alive. What do you make of it? Germany, Ecuador.
Well, it's going to be an equivalent task for the Ecuadorian side, to beat Germany. Germany seems to have scored the highest number of goals so far in this tournament, and they have really been a team that a lot of people are seeing as contenders. Don't forget, in the last 2 World Cups, Germany were eliminated in the group stages. So coming into this World Cup, they know that there will be this width of expectation on them, and they have done what they are supposed to do, winning their 2 games. And that is why I say the Ivorians do stand a chance to qualify, because it's football, anything can happen. Football is like biscuits, you don't know where it's going to crack. But I don't see the Ecuador team beating the Germans, and I don't see the Ivorian team losing to Curaçao.
Okay.
But what do I know? For the Ivorians, all they need is a draw, hoping that Ecuador doesn't defeat Germany.
Okay.
So that is why I feel that the Ivorians would go through. But for the German side, the German machines, they call themselves, I don't see them capitulating. I don't see any form of capitulation against Ecuador.
Okay, now let's talk about Japan, who will be in action in the early hours of Friday. So the Japanese side have got Sweden to worry about, and the time for that encounter is 12 a.m. Nigerian time, same time UK. Yeah, so this is one of the decisive matches in Group F, with a place in the knockout stage on the line. What's it like going into that very encounter? For you, Michelle, Japan entered the match unbeaten, having drawn 2-2 with the Netherlands and defeated Tunisia by 4-0. So would it be easy peasy for Japan against a Swedish side, who would start the game strongly? They started quite well. They're going to the game on the right foot. They started strongly with a 5-1 victory over Tunisia, but so far a heavy 5-1 defeat to the Netherlands.
The maneuver between Japan and Switzerland might also go through, because if you look at Japan, like you mentioned, we saw how they were able to grind out a draw against the Dutch side, the Orange, and with what they have been able to do, the goal difference is not to be against them. So I think they stand a chance to qualify from this group, the Japanese team.
Okay.
I think it's been one of the most interesting of groups. Everybody aside the USC that has gotten a seamless outing, not so much seamless. Okay, they've won their 2 matches, right? So I think Japan would go out of that group. They will be scaling through to the round of 32. Of course, if there's anything I like about the Japanese team and their contingent, their fans, is that they call themselves the Samurai Blue.
Yeah.
And on every match day, after the game, they take it upon themselves. The fans go about cleaning the pitch. Going to make sure no deaths, maintaining a very high level of sanitary or hygiene, as the case may be. So there is one thing I like about them. I'd like to see that continue in the World Cup.
All right, so Tunisia will also be in action. The North African side have got the Netherlands to play, and this is a final Group F match for both teams. The Netherlands are in a strong position after drawing with Japan and crushing Sweden by 5-1. They are battling for first place in the group and are expected to qualify for the knockout stage of the tournament. So Tunisia, Netherlands, it's a game to watch.
Well, for Tunisia, they found themselves in the wrong kind of history. They sacked their coach Sabri Lamouchi, brought in season winner, 2-time AFCON winner, Renard, who won the AFCON with Zambia and Ivory Coast, and has an illustrious career in terms of coaching. At some point, he was coach of the blue female team, and what have you. However, against the Japanese, they were taken to the cleaners, and they they happen to be the whipping boys
of that very
group. So I don't know if we'll be acting as spoilers, but against and the Iran side, I don't see the Iran side capitulating. Right. They will be beaten by the Iran side. The Iran side will be getting all 3 points.
All right.
Against the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia.
Okay, now let's talk about a South American side. That's Paraguay against Australia. The time for that encounter is 3 a.m. the early hours of Friday morning in Nigeria and of course the UK. Alright, so the group winners have already been decided, leaving Paraguay and Australia fighting for the remaining automatic knockout round spot. A win guarantees second place, while a draw would strongly favor Australia due to their superior goal difference and could potentially allow both teams to advance under the best third place system. What do you make of this encounter? Who comes up top tonight? Paraguay against Australia.
For Paraguay, a draw will be enough for them. For Australia, they need a win, as it stands. And it's a game of high stakes. And for the Australian side, the soccer rules, they call themselves, they know that anything short of a win might
hamper their
chances of going further in the competition.
Okay.
Well, I just think the both teams might just be playing for a draw. They may be playing a stalemate.
Okay, we see a possible stalemate.
Yeah.
Interesting times, you guys. Okay, now let's look at the last game. Turkey against USA. 3 a.m. Nigerian time. And of course, UK time as well. Now, the United States have already secured first place in Group D after victories over Paraguay, where they won by 4-1, and Australia, where they edged the Socceroos by 2-0, giving them 6 points and qualification to the knockout stages of the tournament. Turkey have lost both group games so far. They lost to Australia 0-2 and 0-1 to Paraguay and have already been eliminated. So they've got nothing really at stake apart from pride. So will they act as spoilers going into... Oh, well, there's nothing to play apart from pride. So will their egos be smeared, or will they make it count? At least a win to make a statement at the World Cup. It's one thing to be at the World Cup, it's just another to make a statement.
Absolutely. Rightly analyzed by you, the locker. They know they are already out. They would like to hold on to something. In as much as we know that one team will be major champions of the 2026 FIFA World Cup hosted by 3 nations, everybody wants to make a positive mark. Every statistics matters.
Yeah.
And they like to hold up to something by getting on the victorian side, knowing that at least, let's use this as a form of consolation, we did not do so well, and they can act as spoilers. For instance, the 80 side, they lost all their matches, isn't it?
Okay.
But they were able to score against Morocco. Morocco came from 2 goals down to beat them, and that used to be their very first goal since 1974. That was the last time they went to the World Cup. They celebrated the goal.
Absolutely.
So why am I bringing that analogy? I'm bringing it because look at people that have been ousted, but just because they scored a goal, they were celebrating.
For the most part.
Because the last time they scored a goal was in 1970.
So
that is how it is. So
okay.
It promises to be a wonderful game. So I look forward to see how that would unfold.
Turkey has surprisingly dominated possession in its group matches, but struggled badly in the final third, failing to score. USA has combined possession with efficiency for the most part of the tournament, scoring 6 goals in 2 games and looking far more dangerous in transition attack. Well, we can't go any further. This is where we get to put a pin right here on Sports 360, the World Cup edition on SEM TV. Been a great time with you out there, and for real, you are the real MVP. Michelle Dagogo, been a great time with you right here once again.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
We hope to do this some other time.
Absolutely, any day, anytime.
All right.
I'll try as much as possible to come.
All right, so many thanks, big shouts. I remember that name, the voice you trust, and that mayor you probably need. Call me Rex Patrick the Locker, that homeboy that's never at home. I lock around 247-365. Who read? Day serious, but who pass? Nahi no book. For now, it's a wrap.
And now, time to talk sports matters on SEM TV. Stay with us.
Sensational, absolutely sensational. Sensational. And Stadium is blocked. The All Blacks press forward with a driving run. White 5 for 3, it's good. A huge shot. The puck drops in this gold medal game.